This workshop number 3. So I'm going to explain a bit the scope of the workshop, because the first workshop was actually about exploring Wikidata. What can, in general, we see and do with Wikidata? The second workshop was around how to create a Wikidata item. So in our case, we created the Wikidata item for Maiko Yamamoto. And in workshop number 3, we're going to look how to search the data in Wikidata, how to use what's in Wikidata. And we are going to concentrate on Sparkle queries and on the Wikidata query service, which is a way to extract a bunch of information from Wikidata. One thing I want to make clear with you is that you will not have to remember everything that is going to be shown here. The syntax of Sparkle is really a complex syntax, and it's really a syntax that has a lot of, how can I say, of details. And so, but in this workshop, we're going to show you how you can easily do a simple query and go on with that and improve it. So this is how this workshop is going to be separated. It's in 3 parts. So the first part will be searching into Wikidata and checking things like page history and things like that. The second part, we're going to look at the Wikidata query service. So how it works, what's the Sparkle language, what are command, variable, and other element of the syntax of Wikidata, of Sparkle. And in the part number 3 of this workshop, we're going to explore 3 queries to extract information from Wikidata. So let's start with part number 1. So part number 1 is about searching inside Wikidata and is about the history of a Wikidata page. First of all, in the last workshop, we've seen that before creating an item, it is very, very, very important to make sure that it doesn't exist. Otherwise, we're going to create a duplicate. So to be able to do that, what we need is to do a search inside Wikidata before creating an item. Now, there are reasons why a search you are going to do might not work. And those are very important for you to keep in mind and to make sure you don't fall into the pitfall that could be if one of the problem you might have is that the name of the entity, which is the label, is not entered into in English. So let's say it's only entered in German or Spanish. And so this will result in making it harder for you to find it. Also, sometimes people are entered different way, like someone can have multiple first name, and into Wikidata, you might be searching with just one first name. So it will not appear at the top of the search. You will have to look further in the results to make sure you see it. So this can be tricky sometimes. Also, people sometimes in Wikidata are entered by their artist name. So you are searching with their civil name and you can't get the result because actually you would need to do a search with the artist name. Or it could be the inverse also. So basically into Wikidata, there's 2 ways to search. Either you use the internal search engine or you use Wikidata query. So let's go check with the internal service how we can do a search. So the first thing is you'll find the search tool in the upper right of your window. So there's going to be a search field, which is called like search Wikidata. And you can enter information into that field. You'll see that a menu of options appears underneath it. And you can see that the last item is different. The last item says containing, and then it puts your text. And this is very useful because this will bring you to the search page of Wikidata. So let's check this here. So now I'm already into the page, but that doesn't count. It will not change what I'm going to show you here. So you see I'm entering the text, and we see I have two homonyms with the same name. And of course, the second one with the description, we can see it's the one we want. So let's choose containing. Now, if we do containing, we see that the text we've entered for the search is in the field at the top. We see also that for our search, we're asking to sort the result by relevance, which is the obvious choice. And also, we can see here, there's two places into Wikidata that it's going to be searched. So we have the main namespace, and we have the property namespace. So the property namespace, of course, is all the property we have in Wikidata. But the main namespace is actually the items, the Wikidata items. So in Wikidata, what is the standard or the most basic information it manages is Wikidata item. So main namespace is actually will give you some results. So here we put a human name, so there's very little chance that we'll find a property. But let's say we would occupation, and occupation can be an element or it can be a property, so that can be sometimes misleading. You could just remove here and do the search again, and then you would not have properties at all. So if you don't want to have that mistake, you can tailor your advanced search. So this is for the search, the internal search of Wikidata. Now here we see the result page it gives us. Now let's check the result. Here we can see that we've put some squares around each result. So we see now there's 3 results at the start of this page. The first line, of course, is the label of the Wikidata item, and with in parentheses, it's Wikidata identifier. And the second line is the description. So we see the description is very important, because you see here, this description enables us to see, to find the good item we're looking for. So this is really, I cannot stress enough how a good description is important for a Wikidata item. And the third line contains actually more information. The first one is the number of statements that exist into the Wikidata item. So here we know that for Maika Yamamoto, we have 9 statements, but we have 0 site links. And we see also that we have here the date, the last time this item was modified. So those are useful information that help us to find the item we are looking for. But it mainly uses the label and the description to do the search. So it is limited in many ways. And we also have the history of a Wikidata page, or actually in every wiki, there is a history that you can see. So let's go back here to our example, and let's choose our Maiko. And we can go here at the upper, in the header of the Wikidata page, we have view history. So when you click on it, now you can see all the changes that has been made to this item since its creation. So here we have create new item. And so that was the first action on this item. And we can see who has done the change, when, so the date and the time. We can also see the quantity of information that is in this page. So once I've created the page, there was only 340 bytes, but actually it was from 0. So it was an addition of 340 bytes. But if we go further, the last modification that has been done was done by FG Julian, and we can see that it did not add any information. So maybe he changed one character, or he changed something and added the same amount of characters. So basically now we know that we're at 6,507 bytes for the whole Wikidata item. So we also have, this is very useful, we also have the description of what has been done. So here there's the change of the French description, and we can see the new description is written here. So that is basically for the history of a page in Wikidata. So do you have questions for this first part of the workshop?
Okay, it's a tiny question. In the history page of an entity, there's a way to thank someone for having modified or enriched an item. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how to use it, why we should be using it, and how important it is to do it?
Well, this is a very interesting question, because how important is it to use it? It's really a human thing. So it's really not something that is necessary for the quality of the data, or that is, but let's say someone has done a contribution that you find very, very useful. It's a human thing where you can, you can say to the person, really, this contribution, I'm happy you have done it. So it's a way of rewarding people for what they contributed to your element, or to one element into Wikidata. I haven't talked about that. There's a lot of information I'm skipping, because I don't want to put too much information at the same time and like blurry the whole thing. But this is something very interesting. I personally use it once in a while, especially if someone contributed to an item I created. Then I make sure I say to the person, I acknowledge that what the contribution is done to the item I created. I'm happy for that. But I mean, it's really beyond the scope of this workshop. But I do recommend you to do it. And there's like, I don't believe like you can do it too much. I mean, it's really, most of the time people do appreciate when you thank them for a contribution they did. Does that answer the question?
Sure. Merci. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks. Guillaume had a question before as well. He wants to change metteurs en scène for metteur. I think he wants to a demonstration of, as a Wikidata user, how could you go change that?
Okay, well, let's go back here to the Wikidata item page. So basically, if you want to change a description, you go into edit here, and you would have access to metteurs en scène. And metteurs en scène, and you could like put metteur. Do I understand like you would like to put like metteur like that?
Guillaume says, why not? And by the way, I had chosen metteurs en scène because that's the feminine form that appears on the Wikidata item for theater director, because whenever an occupation can exist in either a distinct masculine or feminine form, these can be managed on the items page. And it's not the case in English, so we won't spend too much time on that. But for Latin languages, including French, there can be distinct feminine and masculine forms for occupations. So those can be managed on the item page. So Sandra Raymond is asking, what would be a proper description of an item for a contemporary dance company? I think this was number 1 or number 2. Actually, we have not discussed items for organizations just yet. This will be in an upcoming workshop. So I'd like to defer you to the Wikidata project Performing Arts, but this kind of information is not there. Well, how would you provide, how would you, what would you recommend, Antoine, for a description for an organization?
Organization, human are usually simpler for the description. For a company, maybe say where it's based. For a business, like I would say where it's based. I would say the objective of the description is to be able to, in a few words, to really know which this is what you're talking about. So maybe sometimes the year, if it's a business that exists since a long time, the year could help, like started in 1910. Sometimes it could help. Sometimes if a company is really linked to a human being, then you can put founded by in the description and name the person. But this is really a complex question, and I would not want to give you a partial answer now. I think it's workshop number 6 that we're going to address how businesses are going to be created, how we're going to enter data. So bear with us till this workshop. You'll have a fuller answer. But let's say that you don't know, you're creating an item and you're not sure what description to give it. Well, it's okay to put a partial description at start and then come back and make it better from time. So if you don't have the perfect information, you go with what you have, and then you come back and you bonify it afterwards. So that would be my quick answer for now. Does that is that helpful enough?
That will do for now. I may provide additional bits of information over the chat, so you can continue, and we'll revisit this topic in a subsequent workshop.
Excellent.